Hi, greetings, Whovians. Whovian Queen here. Having a good week so far. Well, look at the 15 Doctor Era's right now continues on with Lux. Unable to return to May 24th, 2025, the TARDIS is in 1952 Miami, where the Doctor and Belinda find a cinema that's chained shut. At a diner, they speak to the mother of one of 15 people who disappeared from the cinema, which continues to play movies at night. Although racial segregation is still enforced, the waiter allows them to stay. Inside the cinema, the pair discover a living rubber hose cartoon character, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, the embodiment of Lux Imperator, the god of light, is responsible. The projectionist, Reginald Pye, plays films for Lux, uses powers to recreate Pye's dead wife. Lux has trapped the missing people in a film reel. He similarly traps the Doctor and Belinda and turns them into cartoon characters until they regain their usual forms. They flee to another false reality where a racist NYPD cop challenges them. They escape their television watched by Doctor Who fans. Though delighted to meet the Doctor, they reveal that their world is the false one, encourage him to return to defeat Lux, even though they will then cease to exist. Back at the cinema, the Doctor heals his injured hand using residual regeneration energy. Lux uses the energy to create a solid body. Belinda attempts to burn film reels to cause an explosion. When encouraged by his wife, Pye sacrifices himself. The explosion exposes the cinema to sunlight, causing Lux to spin infinitely until he becomes one with the universe. The missing people return. As the Doctor and Belinda leave, Mrs. Flood encourages the bystanders to watch the TARDIS dematerialize, claiming the show was a limited run that ends on May 24th. Doctor's fans critique the episode, realizing that they still exist. Interesting. So let's take a look at the productions episode, beginning with development and production design. Lux was written by Russell T Davies. He had wanted to do an episode that included a living cartoon for a long time, but was unable to do one until now for funding reasons. He also revealed that he had considered variants of such an episode, including one two decades prior that would have featured hologram rather than a legitimate animation as a result of the budgetary constraints. The story also contains mentions of segregation and racism, in which Davies said he added to address issues in present-day society. It was also used as a subversion to the Doctor usually situating themselves as the main authority figure. While including such themes, he didn't want it to be the dominant subject. Among these are the NYPD officers seeing the cinema as a space reserved for white folk, and prejudice assuming that Belinda is Caribbean. Other motifs present explore grief, hope, friendship, and sadness. Popular cultural references to Rock Hudson and the Scooby-Doo character Velma were included. Additionally, Davies has continued a recent trend of breaking the fourth wall. Also unusual for the show, the episode features a mid-credits scene. Costume designer Pam Down created the Doctor's and Belinda's outfits using the complementary colors of blue and yellow. This dress was inspired by similar one worn by Anita, played by Ariana DeBose, and designed by Paul Tazewell in the 2021 adaptation of West Side Story. Meanwhile, Gau's blue suit was influenced by American musical artists in the 1950s. These suits were intended to further contrast with the red interior of the cinema, ultimately using all three primary colors. Down ultimately wanted to successfully convey movement during the episode's action scenes. As such, 3 different wigs were considered for Seth to wear, and her dress had multiple underskirts. Ian Spendloff worked as a creative designer for the episode, and was the designer of Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Davies compared the concept of Mr. Ring-a-Ding to Fleischer animations from the 1930s. Spendloff drafted 30 different sketches that were considered, but finally settling on the one used in the episode. Each one featured variations in noses, hair, and other elements. Mr. Ring-a-Ding was also given a pig-like nose and blue skin to provide characteristics of cartoon characters from the time period. But Davies wanted the character to look vaguely human but not be immediately identifiable as something else. Meta references to Doctor Who fans are also present in the episode, as Davies recalled his enjoyment of cartoons while writing it, which made him consider people who loved the program. Within the episode, the fans wore Doctor Who apparel, including for a Doctor scarf and a Cervantello sweatshirt, and declared Blink as their favorite episode. One of them also alludes to a potential cancellation of the show. They point out the obviousness of the episode's foreshadowing and make references to online leaks. The show's BBC indent appears on the screen of their television. Although they say they are too inconsequential to be given surnames, other characters, Ahsan Chowdhury, Lindsay Abel, and Robin Gosage, are fully named in the credits. The concept of Doctor Who existing within its own universe had previously been explored in Remembrance of the Daleks and other expanded media. Following this instance, such an idea was considered quasi-canon. This scene raised suspicion that Davies had potentially been planting spoilers online himself regarding upcoming episodes, as well as rumors that the series would enter into another hiatus. It was also theorized that these leaks could be part of a larger marketing campaign. When the fact that the episode was written and filmed well before leaks began appearing was considered, stated that the episode had some kind of, quote, had the same, quote, kind of mind-bending prediction you'd expect from The Simpsons, end quote. And now on to casting. The episode stars Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th incarnation of the Doctor, and Radha Sethu as his companion Belinda Chandra. Alan Cumming voices the antagonist Mr. Ring-a-Ding. It marks Cumming's second appearance in the show after his role as King James VI, and first in the 2018 episode The Witchfinders. Davies said that he and the production team had considered whether it was too soon to cast Cumming again, and that it had been a live-action role. He likely would not have been. Mr. Ring-a-Ding is the god of light and part of the pantheon of gods that Davies had been developing since The Giggle. Linus Roach stars as Reginald Pye, the theater's projectionist, and Louis Cornet plays a garden worker who helps the Doctor and Belinda investigate the disappearances. And Ian Dobson also makes a brief appearance as recurring character Mrs. Flood. The trio fans were portrayed by Samir Arian, Bronte Barb, and Steph Lacey. And now finally onto filming and post-production. The story was filmed in the series' third production block among the following episode, The Well. It's directed by Amanda Brodsky and recorded in late January 2024. Location shooting took place in Penarth, Cardiff. The surrounding area was made up to look like an American city in the 1950s by adding vehicles and American flags. Penarth Pier Pavilion was used for exterior shots of the theater. The production team painted the building, edited period theater sign, and removed a modern ramp at the front of the building. This removal led to the discovery of rotting wood that had to be replaced at the show's expense. The episode was shot during Storm Jacelyn, causing the cast and crew to struggle with unexpected rain and winds, requiring hot water bottles to keep warm during takes. Interior shots for the studio were filmed on Soundstage Square at Wolf Studio, Wales. Pieces of that set were reused from The Devil's Cord. As a result of Mr. Ring-a-Ding being an animated creation, the performers had to interact with a 2-foot acrylic cutout of the character or a thin green pole on set. The scenes were then edited during the post-production process. References to Mr. Ring-a-Ding's movement were filmed by crew and then drawn directly into the scene by animators from Framestore. Cumming voices scenes in New York City on June 28, 2024. Elements of Cumming's facial expressions during this recording were incorporated into Mr. Ring-a-Ding. The scene where the Doctor and Belinda are turned into cartoons were first recorded on green screen, in which Gatwa and Sethu had to portray the characters in a rigid and cartoon-like manner. The animators used this as a reference for interaction between the two characters when redrawing them as a cartoon. Animations were done at 25 frames a second, requiring 25 drawings for each second of screen time, or fewer if the character's movement was limited. Foley artists recorded sound effects at Bang Post-Production in Cardiff, Wales on September 4th, 2024. The episode soundtrack included 2 singles, Roll Over Beethoven by Chuck Berry, and the Marlene Shaw rendition of California Soul. Despite the episode taking place in 1952, the tracks were released until 1956 and 1969, respectively. Murray Gold, the show's composer, also included the song The Sad Man with the Box, a piece that he originally composed for Series 5. Oh, interesting. So I think this episode is pretty good, and yeah, let's just say that Mr. Ring-a-Ding did kind of freak me out a little bit near the end, but yeah, so yeah. So overall, I give Lux 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. When I tune next week as we took the following episode, The Well. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, be sure to give a thumbs up, share it around, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified about when I upload videos. And if you want to help support the channel, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in the description below. Anyway, until next time, this is Hoovy and Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I've risked polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool. Oh no, my Sonic ran out of juice again. Dang it, it was working well last week too. Oh well then.